Oh my god.
All right.
Oh my god.
Hello.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
About to do a good show. This is fun.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is
Oh.
sex tape.
Did we already fuck up?
Nope, keep
God.
going. Just enter the show.
All right. We're back with
Oh
the
my God.
RW Wrestling Podcast.
Oh my god.
Oh,
And
jeez.
we're
Oh my God.
reviewing Bound for Glory 2005.
You mean Oh My God 2005?
Oh my god.
We opened it up with a fatal 4-way match.
No, we opened the pre-show up with a fatal 4-way match.
Yeah,
That's true.
there's a little bit of stuff before that if we want to talk about.
Yeah, you talk about that.
The whole thing opens up with Jeff Jarrett, Gail Kim, and America's Most Wanted pushing a casket into the building for some reason. Although we don't really know for sure what that means. We don't know who's going to be there for the funeral. So
At this point in time.
yeah, we don't know.
So then we have the fatal 4-way match, and it's a very young-looking Alex Shelley,
I'm like, alright.
Sanjay Dutt.
All right.
Why do you have to say Sanjay? You should have went in order that they came out in. It would have been more interesting.
I did.
No, they came out. That was last.
Oh, that's right.
Because we were like, holy shit.
Well, Alex Shelley, Sanjay Dutt, a very young-looking Roderick Strong, and a super baby Austin Aries.
Yeah, like straight out of the crib. I mean,
So Shelley did an STF to Strong. Dutt did some nice combos at Strong. Dutt did a Hurricane Rana to Strong. Aries did a Hilo to Strong, getting inside the ring.
Hello.
Aries did a nice drop kick to Shelley and Strong at the same time. Strong did a backbreaker to Dutt. So Shelley did some raking horse cradle to Dutt, which kind of weird looking, but Shelley did a nice full Nelson on the mat to Dutt. Aries did a pendulum elbow to Dutt. Strong had Dutt in a razor's edge and then dropped him on his knees.
But bam.
There was a 4-person submission hold.
That was fun.
Alex Shelley spit at Strong and then did a DDT to Strong. Then Dutt did a standing moonsault right after that to Strong. Strong did give Dutt some knees. Aries did a brainbuster to Strong. Dutt did a Dragon Rana to Strong, and Sanjay Dutt picks up the victory.
Which is the weirdest thing. Did we talk about the spot where it looked like they did a shoot?
yeah, or it looked like
Because he broke up the pin, but then they bitch slapped each other a couple times and then just walked away from each other.
Yeah, it was rather interesting.
Yeah, it was. I was like, I think the first thing we thought was, I think one of us, I think I looked at you and said, was that a shoot?
Okay, it looked really awkward.
Yeah. I thought the Rochambeau at the beginning was kind of entertaining. They're like, who's going to go first?
It was back to that thing with that shoot part was because it looked like when I think it was Shelley was getting back out of the ring, Strong's like, what the like they were yelling at each other, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it might just be a miscommunication. Yeah, I know I stutter. I can't believe a pre-show match got this much heat. That was really cool to see.
Let's go, Aries.
It was really good, too.
Yeah.
Let's go, Aries.
I'm surprised Aries didn't win the match. I mean, he was the most over guy, but I don't know if this...
I mean, out of the 4 people in the match, I'm surprised that Dutt won the match.
Yeah.
Same. I would have thought Strong would have won because he got the most offense for the most part.
Let's go,
That's pretty much all I had. I didn't really
Aries.
have much to say. I just enjoyed the match. Like, I like it. I like the crowd interaction. It got me hyped up to keep watching it, and I didn't really care who won.
It was very fast-paced.
It went like roughly 10, 12 minutes maybe, give or take. Because the rest of this pre-show is dominated by backstage.
We
interviews.
got Impact Monday Night Raw 20-minute promos in the ring.
But
To wrap
what
up
would
the
Yes, we do.
What would you guys rate the Fatal 4-Way?
7. It's a
Fuck.
pre-show match is 7.
I gave it a 7.5. I was originally gonna give it an 8, but I narrowed it down a little bit. But fuck, that was a great pre-show match.
Yeah, 7.5. Wrong guy won.
So then Raven is out in the ring, and
We got to go backstage first to Shane Douglas's first skit. He's this pay-per-view's Flip Gordon. He's talking.
Rhino's this pay-per-view's
He's talking
Flip
with
Gordon,
well, that's true as well. Jeez Louise. We'll get to that later. I'm sure of it. So he's backstage talking to AMW, Jeff Jarrett, and Gail Kim again, and Chris Harris is showing footage of how America's Most Wanted won the tag belts, including that really cool beer bottle. What was it material you said it was supposed to be? That makes it break away so it doesn't cut you up?
sugar pane glass.
Sugar glass.
Sugar glass, okay.
And that was me.
that was you that said it.
Oh, yeah. Harris says the belts are back where they belong, essentially saying that we're the best. And then, but Douglas interjects and says, "Well, you got to fight the Naturals tonight." And says, "That's fine by me. We're going to beat these guys, and then we're going to put Team 3 to rest."
So then was the Raven promo.
Yeah, this is long-winded. If you can bear with me here.
So Raven comes out to the ring pissed at the fact that Kevin Nash is not in the title match, and Raven is
Thank
not.
fucking God.
And Raven is not given the opportunity.
Yeah. So basically, he shits on Larry Zbyszko, saying he's a puppet, and I don't remember what the reference was, but the Raven pulled out a quote that's pretty much in the top 10 of really ridiculous. God's balls and a nutcracker. I don't remember what the context was.
He said he would give up God's balls and a nutcracker to be in that match.
Okay. So then he calls out Larry Zbyszko, who comes out, and Raven argues that he was robbed of his NWA title and asks for a rematch with Jeff Jarrett.
No, he said he was raped
Oh,
of his world title
that's right.
with a hard R.
Exact quotes.
Yeah. Okay. Exact quotes. He was raped of the NWA title, and he asked for a rematch with Jeff Jarrett. Zbyszko says no, and then Raven moves towards Zbyszko, and the security grabs Raven, and then Rhino comes out.
Rhino spot number 1.
Raven being held by security. Rhino, as Raven is being held by security, Rhino walks up on him face to face and says, "What happened to you, dude? 5 years ago you did this. 5 years ago you did that."
Well, he said
5 years ago you crucified somebody. 5 years ago you kidnapped somebody. Like,
Yeah.
You held somebody's family hostage.
That's right, you
All
kidnapped
the good ECW stuff that he did.
Well,
with
and then
Sandman
he goes,
and,
"You enjoyed it too," and then on top of that, your mind, what the hell happened to you? Is it a woman?
yeah, did a girl get in your head?
He's basically implying he's a pussy.
And
Yeah.
he says, "I deserve a title shot. You don't because you're pathetic." And then to see the segment out, he gores Cassidy Riley twice, once while I was off camera.
that was
and he
dumb.
gored him again. I'm like, I didn't see it.
That part was stupid that they didn't show it.
They had a couple moments in the show where the camera missed.
Interview segment number 2,
Yeah.
and I believe it's the last one before we go to the main show. AJ Styles is backstage with Shane Douglas, bit number 2, and
Did you
Shane
write down
Douglas
how many times Shane Douglas showed up on TV?
lots.
Because he was on like everything.
He should have got a title shot.
He's not a good announcer, I'll tell you that much.
Shane Douglas.
Also should have counted how many times Larry Zbyszko was on TV.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that later because good lord, talk about overacting. Basically, he asked AJ Styles, "Is Christopher Daniels a shadow that you just can't pull away from?" AJ Styles says yes. He puts over Christopher Daniels being able to keep up with him like hold for hold, moment for moment, title for title, all that. And then he hypes up the 30-man Iron Man match.
30-man Iron Man match?
30-minute Iron Man match. Thank you.
30-man Iron Man match.
God help us all, we had to watch that one. And he says Christopher Daniels will have to be phenomenal to beat him. And then we go to the main card.
Well, no, and then we go to randomly, they're getting ready for Samoa Joe's special entrance. And then you just see Jushin Thunder Liger
Walking through an office building. It was great.
And just all his gear, his mask, and all that stuff. Like, okay.
Like, this is great hype, but like he's standing in an office. Something doesn't feel right here.
Something isn't like the other.
Just standing in an office hallway.
But then you got Samoa Joe versus Jushin Thunder Liger. And first off, Samoa Joe has his traditional Samoan entrance with fire dancers.
You don't hear his music until after the match.
So then, first off, is Liger does a nice crossbody to Joe. Joe does a Samoan drop to Liger. Joe does a knee drop to Liger. Joe does a snap suplex to Liger.
I want to
Man.
see how many times you say to Liger.
Liger does a perfect plex and a frog splash to Joe. Liger does a Liger powerbomb to Joe.
That was a good spot. I like that one.
Joe does the muscle buster to Liger and then the coquina clutch to Liger, and Samoa Joe wins.
Yeah, pretty much nailed it. This match was back and forth. It was really good. These guys didn't stop. I thought that the entrances were really cool. Although I didn't get what Samoa Joe's was at first until you had to tell me what it was. It was like, kind of like the Usos when they have their little culture entrance.
And it's supposed to be the WrestleMania, so it's like a special.
Yeah.
Special
Even though
entrance.
it's the first one, so I can't say like it's their WrestleMania, but they say many times, this is the greatest show of our year, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's the biggest show.
They're basically telling you this is going to be our Mania every
Yeah.
year.
I thought Liger's entrance music was like the anime version of Girls in Cars. It was just that cheesy and ridiculous.
If it was anybody else that wasn't a legend like Jushin Liger, I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
He came out to
American males is an example.
He came out to an anime theme song. It's
Do you
okay.
think Justin Thunder Liger could pull off American males?
Fuck no.
So he's not much of a legend, is he then? The streamers were cool though. I was really glad those came out. He got like about 50 of them. At least that's what it looked like.
Which, by the way, that's the only person to get streamers in this whole show.
It's
Yeah.
also interesting that they actually had the New Japan president there.
Yeah.
To watch their guy get beat by this all-star American.
The crowd is pumped. Both of these guys came out, got huge pops, and throughout the match, whenever one guy got the advantage over the other, everyone was engaged with every single move.
Yeah.
This match was really good to get this show off to the right note. I gave it a 7.5.
I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I loved it.
I thought it was great.
I'll give it a 7 and we're gonna put it in here now because we didn't say it when we started. This is the first time I ever watched TNA as a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So this is my first experience watching Joe.
This is also your first experience watching Liger back in the day.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that much Liger.
And
I saw Liger from WCW back in the day.
that was a good reference to them and him and Brian Pillman. Yeah, because I remember watching that match on Nitro.
That was on the very first Nitro in Mall of America.
Yep.
Mall of America.
So then we had, a promo?
Yeah, Shane Douglas was segment number 3.
The franchise.
Yeah, why wasn't he in the freaking number one contender battle royal? Whatever.
Your notes just say Shane Douglas.
I just want to make sure I got the interview right, because it could be somebody else,
He does write the interviewers like every other show. He goes, Christy Hemme.
Yeah, just to make sure.
No,
It's,
I guess it's there too.
I do it all the time.
I know. I just never noticed it.
So
before.
it's
Me neither.
I forget the name of the team. Was it Diamonds in the Rough?
Diamonds in the Rough.
So Simon Diamond is hyping up Elix Skipper and David Young for their match coming up against Team Canada. Against Apollo and Sonny Siaki and Shark Boy, which we'll get to in a second.
Shark Boy.
That was it. He's just hyping up the match.
All right.
Or hyping the boys up.
So we had the Diamonds in the Rough versus Sonny Siaki and Apollo and Shark Boy. Woohoo!
Grade A professional wrestling when Shark Boy's biting people in the ass.
So Simon Diamond does a clothesline to Shark Boy. Shark Boy is biting Diamond's ass.
I have to comment on this because this is about the time when we went on a 3-minute conversation about rim jobs.
Yeah.
You did. I just nodded appropriately.
There's appropriate ways to nod about rim jobs.
I said, okay, guys, sure. You go right ahead and talk about it.
Apollo does a cutter / what looks more like an RKO to Skipper.
There's like 3 of those in this match.
Skipper and Young double team Apollo. Skipper does Skipper leaps at Apollo outside the ring.
Good.
Yes. Apollo cutter to Skipper.
Cool.
Apollo caught Skipper with a cutter.
I think my main goal now is to make sure you guys fuck up every time.
Sonny Siaki does a Samoan drop to David Young. Apollo does another cutter to Young. Shark Boy did a crossbody to Skipper. Young somersaults onto everyone outside.
Onto everyone.
Then Apollo does a tope onto everybody. Then Young caught Siaki with a spine buster, and the Diamonds in the Rough win.
That was about the only thing that Young did that actually looked cool.
What, the finish?
That spine buster was cool.
Yeah, 'cause it was a double team spine buster. So
I wish the timing, I'm gonna nitpick just a second because I really think it's a good finisher. If he didn't wait for the other guy to land and he kind of catches him and they both kind of try to find a way to get that spine buster over without the guy taking the spine buster landing on the ground on his feet first, it'd be freaking awesome. But I don't know if there's a way you can do
They would
that.
have caught him off the springboard.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that though because they're.
Well, because when I watch spine busters, you get him from the ground, you pick him up, spin, slam him down.
But then you don't need the guy flipping him. That's all I'm saying. But it's a great idea because I remarked it was a great finisher. It's just like one of those something really really different that I've never seen before. And it's back in 2005.
and it's one of those rare times where David Young gets a win.
Yeah.
He looks Skipper's great.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. The match broke down too many times for me to really to care how the match was going to go. I really just lost track of who was legal and it was just getting, I was just kind of rolling my eyes at points. West Don. I don't know if it was just me. I don't know if it was you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know if it was just me, but like Don West was really sounding like the guy from Office Space. Really, we were talking about that before we started watching it, and how his voice is just so. I'm a people person, yeah. And it just stood out like, oh my god.
He's really loud.
I feel like you just love Taz on commentary.
I've heard
versus
Taz a
Don
number of
West.
times. I don't mind Taz.
TNA Taz is different.
TNA okay. Here's the deal. If you watch a TNA Taz on like one of those TNA one night only shows, he fucking just doesn't give a fuck. So he'll just commentate on anything and it's funny.
He made a reference to quote the late great Dynamite Kid.
The late great.
And at that point he wasn't dead.
It wasn't dead yet. I gave this match the borderline 5.
I gave it a 6.
I was going 5.5. This is probably like this and maybe one other match is about that level.
The spine buster bumped it up a little bit. So then what did we have? Shane Douglas again?
Not yet. We had a recap.
We had a recap of the pre-show.
We circled it. You needed to talk about it. He has a rant or something.
Well, because on one of those one night onlys, we had like people just like coming up in pre-match interviews, and then they have an interview before the match, and then a promo in the beginning of the match. EC3 being the example.
He hates it so much.
There's really no need to recap the pre-show because the pre-show match meant nothing other than it being good.
And because of the way they set it, if you're watching on the DVD, the way they set it up, the pre-show was only like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're watching this, you probably watched the pre-show.
Like if you buy DVDs now, it's just a show, and the pre-show stuff's put in the bonus. But this starts with the pre-show,
Yeah, which is hilarious.
And the pre-show had nothing of substance that affects anything that goes out to this point. Nothing at all.
And the recap they do with the Raven Rhino stuff could have been put when that actually comes into play later. It didn't need to be right here.
There you go. Yes. The next is Shane Douglas for segment number
4.
He has
4. He opened the pre-show.
All right. I'm sorry. I lost count of how many times I wrote down Shane Douglas. I should have numbered them. Yeah, whatever. Shane Douglas number 4,814 coming up. He has Jeff Jarrett and Gail Kim in the back, and he wants to know. He's asking Jeff Jarrett, "Who's your opponent?" And Jeff Jarrett says, "It doesn't matter." He names every name he can think of. Abyss.
Screw you.
Screw you. He says, Kurt Angle if he was there. Screw you. He says, Chris. Screw you. He says, Albert. Screw you. Out of nowhere, Monty Brown just comes out of nowhere and says, yeah, pretty much in Jeff Jarrett's face and says, "I dare you to say, screw you, Monty Brown."
Yeah, he said, "Screw Monty," and then Jarrett's the one that had to specify Monty Brown, say his full name.
Monty Brown.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did do that,
Monty
didn't he?
Brown. I'm not going to say screw
Monty
you.
Brown, I'll tell you what. You impressed the champ, but the champ's not scared of you. Tell you what.
There's a pissed off redneck in
You get a win tonight. Maybe we'll start talking title shots, and then they go to the Lance White Monty Brown match.
So then you had Lance White versus Monty Brown.
Lance Archer, baby. You
Hoyt.
get to see that tattoo that he covered up that looks so bad in the AEW now.
Hoyt does a shoulder block to Brown. Hoyt does a flapjack to Brown. Hoyt slingshot planches himself over the top rope to Brown.
That was good.
Brown launched Hoyt off the top rope. Brown did a slam to Hoyt outside. Hoyt did a big boot and a moonsault to Brown. Brown did the alpha bomb to Hoyt. Hoyt did a rock bottom to Brown. Brown hit Hoyt with the pounce. And Monty Brown won.
I love the pounce.
Yeah, I do, because like the second he goes for it, and he's gonna do it, and the crowd got hyped up. And I was like, all right, do it, and he fucking nails him. And
I don't know why, but I think the pounce looks so much better than the 6-sided ring. Like when they brought him to ECW,
it's 4-sided.
I don't know. It didn't feel like he got because there's a bigger gap.
Yeah, because the rings are bigger.
posts.
Yeah.
Yep, I
in
agree
the 6-side,
with that.
so it seems like it looks a little cooler.
I'll agree with that. It looked cooler in the 6-sided ring than the 4.
Yeah. Plus, there's many ways you can execute it without like having to go from it's 4 sides as opposed to 6, because then also that combined with the size of the WWE rings. That's actually a good point. I like the Haas fight at the beginning. They're just fighting each other and trying to like do shoulder tackle stuff.
Kicking some ass.
Monty Brown almost hurt himself, didn't he? There was like I don't remember what the move was, but me and you look kind of like said like, he almost hurt, almost landed on his neck.
Oh yeah.
What was that?
Because he went for like a flapjack thing, but
Yeah, the flapjack.
in the flapjack thing, Monty flipped, like
And he landed on his like shoulder area.
and he landed upside down instead of flat, and he had flipped himself for some reason. Because it wasn't Lance that did it.
No, it was on Hoyt, Brown on.
But I swear he only got over about this high off the ground before he got folded over.
Audio.
No, I'm just saying, like, a couple inches off the ground before you got over it. Hey, I gave you shit about not knowing words. So
We finally got you on the audio, though. Normally, you don't do that.
yeah, well,
This might be the only match I care about the selling as much as other things because like there's a couple times where Hoyt would hit Brown with a move and Monty Brown wouldn't sell it. Twice, as a matter of fact. There's one where I think it was the plancha to Brown, and then Brown just jumps right back up, gets in the ring. Like, come on, why even do the move? Then the 10 punches, which I get punches or whatever in wrestling, but still.
yeah, but they were chanting Hoyt, Hoyt, Hoyt.
Yeah, the fans were hyped up for Mr. Hoyt on this
Okay, well,
one.
the 10 punches is fine, but then a second later, Monty Brown is right back on the attack. Again,
Who was it? Is it Jim Cornette's podcast? Somebody says, like, who actually believes the 10 punches thing? Because if you punch somebody 10 times square in the forehead, they're not going to be like, yeah, let's keep going.
oh, not to mention your hands would be just be blistered and beat
you'd
up.
be fucked up.
What was the move that Lance Hoyt tried to do or did to Brown right before Brown did the pounce?
Well, I just wrote the rock bottom.
Well, there was a move that Lance Hoyt did,
It's
and
a
then,
Uranagi.
well, there's a move that Hoyt did. It might have been the rock bottom. I'm not sure, but the second Hoyt goes around, turns around or something. Monty Brown's right there for the pounce again. Like, you gotta sell a little bit. I mean, besides, like, I mean, if you're gonna like, I don't know.
It was creative, though.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, him doing the pounce made up for it because it looks really cool. But like, because the crowd got hyped
The
up.
pounce.
And all that really is just a fucking jacked up football tackle because he came from football.
Exactly. He was on the Patriots and the Bills.
How long did he last in TNA?
He was there until the ECW reboot.
So, like, 2006, 2007?
I think he
So
left.
it wasn't very
I
long.
think he left TNA in 2006, and he showed up on WWE TV when ECW started.
Just based on his look, he reminds me of Ahmed Johnson, except he has personality and he can actually wrestle in the ring.
He made a very raucous ending to his promo too before this. Just
he
the way
What,
he
the one with
said,
Jeff Jarrett?
yeah, just the way he said it.
He wanted to meet Jared in the Serengeti.
Yeah, the Serengeti. Serengeti!
But the
Oh,
last,
also, his theme song sounds like a ripped-off version of Down with the Sickness
It
by
did.
Disturbed.
But despite my issues with the selling, the match got
Don't do it again.
the match did good at the end. They were just trading blows and it went back and forth and the match got good at the end. I'm gonna give it a 6.
I gave it a 6.75.
Wow.
I'll give it a 6. The only point I want to make is we're talking about this is 15 years ago, so you see like young Austin Aries, young Alex
Lance
Shelley,
Hoyt.
young all these people. That's where I'm getting to. You see all these like young AJ Styles, Lance Hoyt here, and then Lance Archer now is a pretty drastic change.
Would you say he's the most drastic one of the changes, though?
I don't know, AJ Styles with the beard and the hair and the tattoo.
I mean, you could also say the same thing for Mr. Rude
Yeah, but his face is the same.
or Eric Young.
All Bobby Roode really did was get a haircut. Eric Young I just don't like, so that doesn't count. Like,
He
But the point is the same:
counts.
is that now he's like a
Eric
freaking
Young is
roughneck.
definitely he's got the
Looking
tattoos too, but
is like I mean Eric Young looks like I mean he's on he has his wilderness shows and he looks like someone who just lives out in the friggin' like
he's the
jungle
world champ now.
in the woods all
I
by
mean,
himself.
If you can count the Impact Championship as a world championship, but,
It is.
Hey,
if you can count it as a world championship.
hey, if you're the top guy in a company, you can call it whatever you want.
So we go to, is it Shane Douglas again?
No, it's just
Billy Gunn.
we got 2 live crew or 3 live crew.
2 live crew.
Sorry, 3 live crew in the back, and that is Conan, it's Ron Killings, and it's BG James, and they're talking about their match coming up, and then Kip James walks up off camera and says, "Hey, look, I'm gonna help you guys out against Team Canada because Scott D. Moore outside, they give him 4-on-3. I want to help even the odds." And BG James and Ron Killings kind of look at each other, but Conan walks up on Kip James and says, "No, we don't need your help." And they kind of argue a little bit, and then Conan says his little street ebonics, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of,
Ebonics.
and just like
Okay.
and kind of walks off, and Kip James is like, "Okay, yeah, well, whatever," and then he walks off, and
Not Kip James, bitch.
then
Kip James.
Killings and Killings and BG look at each other, and go, "It'd be nice if we had some help. It would work." And then they just kind of stumble off and they get ready for their match.
So then we have Team Canada versus the 3 Live Crew. And first and foremost, 3 Live Crew get in the ring and they cut a traditional, pretty much DX promo, or New Age Outlaws promo.
Yeah, it just does BG James just does it TNA style. he does the ladies and gentlemen part, but then just modifies it for where he is. And Conan does his Odele and Viva La Raza stuff too.
So Conan's channeling is an inner Eddie Guerrero.
And he's not dead yet.
Exactly. Still channeling his Eddie Guerrero, nonetheless. So then, first and foremost, Conan does an Alabama Slam to Eric Young. Conan does a clothesline to Rude. Relive Crew do a What's Up leg drop combo to Rude. Killings does a head scissors to Rude. Rude does a full Nelson Slam to Killings. A1 does a power slam to Killings. Who the fuck's A1?
Steak sauce.
Killings does a flying arm tackle to Rude. Then BG James comes in and starts cleaning house, just doing his whole punches and then his Dusty Rhodes build up.
And gyrations and...
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Then Rude hit James with a hockey stick. So Team Canada
the piece of the stick that broke off hit the fucking referee.
Hey, however, if he doesn't see it hit him, it didn't happen.
Whatever.
So Team Canada gets a victory.
There's so many of those spots, like between this and the ref didn't see it, and then there's the later match with the beer bottle thing, and there's then there's the main event itself, which is a whole other thing.
Yeah, no shit.
We'll get to that too.
The actual story was told. Kip James was he comes out sitting in a chair.
And they even referenced the shirt. I didn't just say I'm not Kip James.
With his I'm not Kip James, bitch
t-shirt.
And listen, Mike Tenay go, what did it say, Don? I'm not Kip James. And then Mike Tenay yells, bitch.
So after the match was over, Kip James came out and helped Conan to kind of like round out that story for the time being. The funniest part of this whole match, arguably the best one, was when Conan was at the beginning of the match and he was like, I think he had this little moment at the sun. He was pretty much bumping, or everyone was bumping for him. Loses a shoe.
Oh my God!
Throws it to Eric Young, and Eric Young bumps over the top rope to sell it.
I've never seen somebody take what's a clothesline over the top rope from a shoe. It hit him in the side too. It didn't even like hit him in the direct side.
Yeah.
A shoe made Eric Young go over the top rope.
Good thing, yeah.
I mean,
good thing it wasn't a high top. That would have hurt.
There was a number of times in this show and in later matches we'll get there where people somehow find a way to do stupid shit over the top rope.
Which, that one made me laugh the most. Also, the I'm not Kip James bitch is a reference to Dave Chappelle's Rick James bitch skit.
Rick James bitch.
When I found out that the New Age Outlaws came over to TNA and they had their... It's always funny to me how you have to change your character name because of intellectual property and all that stuff, and I get it, but like,
because WWE wants to own everything.
Yeah, but like, as I was writing my notes, I almost kept writing Road Dogg or Billy Gunn and all that stuff, and
or R-Truth.
Yeah, but they're the same guys. I mean, you can't like take away their catchphrases because you can't trademark those, as far as I know.
Well, I mean, they can trademark certain parts.
Well, that's the weird thing that you say about their name changes and intellectual property. God damn it, I fucked my own words up.
Good for you.
But with that, it's because they're like he's Kip James here, but he's Billy Gunn in AEW, and they don't like it.
Well, no, he's just Billy, quote unquote. When he's with his son, they're the Gun Club,
and they do Billy and Austin Gunn,
just like Cody and Brandy Rhodes.
But the funny thing is, he's only had one match where he's actually not been called Billy Gunn, because every match he's been in,
he's been with his son.
They called him Billy Gunn, even in the match.
Yeah,
and then they're like, "Oh, he was on TV," and they call him Billy Gunn. And WWE's like, "Nah, don't do that."
I'm gonna give it a 6, only because at least the storyline, the story in the match wrapped itself up. So
I gave it a 6.5 because the shoe.
Okay, I'm gonna up mine to 6.5 as well. So.
Yeah, I'll do that too. Half a star for the shoe. MVP of the match. MVP of the show so far. Conan's shoe that, for some reason, can knock a grown-ass man over.
All right.
That's what happened.
Now we have Shane Douglas with
what did Booker T say? 5 time. 5 time.
5 time. 5 time. Fifth segment with Shane Douglas, and he has Sabisco sitting on his office office desk. Who knows who it really is? And this is where it gets dumb for me with Larry Sabisco, because he's starting to overact here. He's starting to like wipe his face off and like he doesn't know, he's all stressed out. Like, oh, God damn it, dude! Just say You're gonna decide in a few minutes. I'll get back to you. And walk off the set.
I love the end of this segment when you get there. I'll tell you.
But that was it. So I mean, whatever you have to say.
The funniest part about the end of the segment is because he gets on the phone. But if you actually watch, he picks up the phone and immediately starts talking to somebody. He didn't hit any buttons. He just fucking picks the phone.
Yeah, you just have to hit a button to answer to pick up for the line. Oh, yeah, I got you.
He's just sitting there talking.
Well, my favorite thing, too, about that promo is not even just that part. It's the fact that he's back there and he's on the phone and he goes, Shane will be the first one to know. We'll make sure we tell Shane first. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I think Jeff Jarrett needs to know first. How about that?
Jeff Jarrett never finds out until the end.
Right.
True.
Well, this time you don't know that.
So then we had a promo package for the Ultimate X match.
Again, these hype videos, I'll say we were talking about this the other day. Those TNA night onlys, what year were they again? Were they 2015?
The 2015 one is the Hardcore Justice one we watched.
Yeah. And those hype packages were freaking fantastic. These are still pretty good, but like I see the evolution of how they're doing it. It's really cool. Like it got me hyped up for the freaking Havoc and Gail Kim match and the Hardcore Justice one. This one got me up there for this match, and like I really don't even know who Matt Brantley is.
No, I don't think any of us did. We had to look it up.
So, but like, yeah, the hype video was good. I enjoyed it. Like, they're really good at doing these.
So we had an Ultimate X match: Petey Williams versus Matt Bentley versus Chris Sabin.
The original Canadian Destroyer.
So Sabin hits a Hurricane Rana to Bentley. Williams does a suplex and a slam to Bentley. Bentley does an atomic drop to Sabin from the wires on top of the ring. Then Tracy gets on the apron and forces Williams to motorboat her.
Good for him.
Which that was one of the holy shit, what the fuck moments in the show.
That's not where I thought that was going to go.
We'll get to that.
Sabin does a buckle bomb to Williams onto Bentley.
Or do you think that would be more dangerous or less dangerous than just taking it into the corner?
Well, I mean, to the person that's in an actual turnbuckle, it'd be more dangerous.
I think usually the person
just turn your head and hope to God.
If you can hit the turnbuckles right, it shouldn't be that bad. But they've had injury problems with that move. But if you get thrown into a body that's not bodies are shaped weird, so
Williams did a nice DDT to Sabin. Williams did a leg drop to Sabin. Williams did a Hurricane Rana to Bentley. Bentley did a cutter combo to Williams and Sabin. Sabin did a powerbomb to Bentley off of the wires. Williams did the old Canada spot to Sabin's balls.
That's just the old Canada spot where he steps on their balls and sings "Oh Canada."
Yeah. Sabin did a moonsault to Bentley and Williams. At this point in time, the X had fallen off.
Which I think that was supposed to be the finish because we get there. I'll talk about
because Bentley speared Williams off of the wires.
When we're done getting through the rest of the moments here.
Then Bentley did a crossbody to Williams, and the X fell into Williams' hands.
All right, so here's the point. I think that was supposed to happen exactly the way it did.
The actual finish.
Yes, but it wasn't supposed to fall the first time.
Oh, of course not.
And that's why. And that I think that also comes into the play where you said, like halfway through the match, like they're not really using the structure much. I think it's because the X was not
properly secured,
so they didn't want to have exactly what happened happen.
Yeah.
And then, like you had said, once they got the X back up, it looked like it had been zip tied.
Fucking one side was zip tied up on the thing. It was weird.
What does hook it up?
Normally just like the same thing that you would hook up a championship belt.
And they just got unlucky then.
Well, like when they do have championships, they just wrap the belt around the ropes. They latch the things on it. The X thing is, I'm not quite sure exactly what they do with that.
But that
apparently zip ties.
That was rather funny that it just fell into Williams' hands after that.
Yeah, but I agree with you. That was probably the planned finish. They just had if the X hadn't fallen off, I don't think the crowd would have reacted like to with the bullshit chants that they rained down on the match.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
It would have if it would have played out without the first fall, it would have been great.
So that probably explains why there wasn't many wire spots.
Yeah. Because it was probably like fucking Jimmy rigged to fall like that.
Yeah.
While they were probably fighting up there, I think the plan was that they were both supposed to be fighting up there, and then it was going to fall into his hands.
Yeah. Okay, so we got another episode of Dumb Heel.
Yeah.
Petey Williams.
Yeah.
It worked out well for you, but you're a dumb heel because you allowed a woman to distract you from winning an X Division title. or an Ultimate X match.
That sounds a little harsh.
He got the motorboat or boobs.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm getting to that. However, you got a motorboat, and I am jealous of you for that. You are a pimp. But at the same time, her man Matt Bentley is on the wires going for the ultimate.
He wasn't on the wires yet.
Yeah, he was because he was still looking at her, and then finally he turns around and that was when that spot where I think he pulled him off, and then somebody got the elbow drop. Who got the elbow drop off the?
Bentley's the one who did the elbow, so I think Saban.
I think it was on Petey.
Petey or Saban, yeah.
Yeah.
See, if I was you, I would totally erase the dumb heel part in that because he still wins.
I was gonna say my thing is he got
At the time.
he got the motorboat this chick. He didn't ask for it. Just happened.
And he got the X.
And he wins.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But at the time he did it, you don't know he's going to win.
Speaking out movement, Petey Williams is going to come out and bitch about this.
I don't care. You're still a dumb heel until you won.
He was forced to motorboat this woman.
I don't think anybody's complaining.
Well,
That's my answer to that. I don't think anybody's complaining.
Yeah, so it was just another. It was a good move by Tracy to help Bentley out. I thought it was freaking hilarious.
Too bad his wife divorced him after this spot. They made me do it. Don't leave.
Who, Petey Williams' wife?
I'm just making a joke about
we're
that.
fucking
His wife would
around.
be
We
upset
don't
about
know
it.
for real.
Again, this is like the fourth straight match where this crowd is just over the top hype.
It'd be really sad though if it was true.
That would be sad.
Divorce? Why? Because you were motorboating another woman on television.
I won the Ultimate X match.
Fuck
Come
you.
on.
Who cares about your goddamn ex? You're not having sex.
Now I'm your ex. So you really got it. So you have two X's now.
I'll give you an X.
So this is like the fourth, including the pre-show
section.
match, where like every match has gotten some bit of hype,
God.
like through the roof. Even with the kind of subpar matches we've had to this point, with the last two matches were like kind of but the crowd, they're freaking getting hyped. It still makes me enjoy the matches even more, even if they're a little lackadaisical.
The crowd can make an okay match.
Yeah,
a
that's
good
for
match.
sure. And besides and this match was friggin' fantastic. I loved it, even with the little nitpicks I have for it. I'm gonna give it a 7.
I gave it a 7.25. I would have given it a 7.5 had the X not fallen off early.
Yeah,
I
I would have
give
given it an 8 for that.
I'll give it a 7.
You and your quarters.
Today, I mean, you usually don't do that many quarters. I think almost all the matches you had quarters.
I know, it's really odd.
It's because he doesn't.
That's gonna be your gimmick, I guess.
No, I know.
You're
what
the
it is.
quartermaster. That's what you are. You're the quartermaster.
I know exactly what it is. Because he knows we're not going to do quarters, so he can't be 100. We can't 100% agree with him ever.
Well, then we can't do quarters. And if he's the quartermaster from now on, if that gimmick sits, we can't do quarters.
All right, I'm going to give it a 7.74.
God.
Okay, I would never do.
Closest without going over, right?
I would never do a 0.24 or 0.74. It's either and a half or a quarter.
I just sit there. I'm going to give it a 9.99.
Jesus Christ, that'd be so stupid.
Oh boy.
All right, then do we have Shane Douglas again?
No, it's just a video package for America's Most Wanted versus Naturals.
Damn it, I was hoping for Douglas.
Wait for it.
This is also the third time that the second time Gail Kim shows up.
So we had the
wait for it.
NWA Tag Team
She's here for
titles.
like 4 or 5 times too.
We had America's Most Wanted AMW versus the Naturals.
Who were the Naturals?
Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens.
The Young Bucks trying to be the Hardys before the Young Bucks are trying to be the Hardys.
First things first is the Naturals came out and they were a house of fire. So Douglas powerbombed Storm into the guardrail. Naturals were Irish whipping both members of AMW into guardrails. Harris is punching Douglas to make him bleed.
Didn't take long, did it?
No,
It's good because it's a fight.
Not at all. Storm did the Eye of the Storm to Douglas. Stevens clothesline to both members of AMW. Stevens does a knee to Harris. Stevens does a super kick to Harris. Stevens kicked powder into Harris's face, so Harris attacked James Storm, thinking he was doing something good.
This is why you leave your cocaine at home and you do it after the match.
The Naturals did the death
So
sentence to Harris. Stevens then does an elbow to Harris. Then Harris rolls outside and handcuffs Andy Douglas to the guardrail. So then Storm hit Stevens with a beer bottle in the back of the head. AMW hit the death sentence to Chase Stevens, and AMW are still your NWA Tag Team Champions.
By the way, I like the NW tag belts. I meant to say this earlier because it harkens back to the ones I used to watch when I was a kid. I always liked the way the design looked. This match, it started off pretty good. Chris Harris took a little barricade bump. It looked like it hurt more than it probably did. Because he really hit right in the middle of it, right? And I don't even think he flat backed. I think his back was bent, so it looked like it just hurt. I don't know. It just either way, it looked real. So I'm 10 minutes in, there's no bell, and then they get in a fight, and there's still no. As far as I know, there was no bell at all.
It's not. Yeah, it's not the only match that happens without a bell.
Okay. I'm just making sure I didn't. Maybe I just didn't hear a bell. And okay. The powder spot was hilarious. I was like, I laughed out loud. Like, what the fuck? However, the advantage that they had, faces, dumb faces. Episode number 5,444 of dumb faces. Why did you not hit your own finisher? When everyone knows that if you hit another team's finisher, you're not going to win the match.
I pointed this out. You're like, they should have been over there. I'm like, it's our finisher.
Injury.
Nobody wins.
What?
Insult to injury. That's the only thing I can logically think of.
Well, that's not logical.
There's like,
Yeah, but if you do... Okay, if you did the heart attack to the Heart Foundation back in the day and you were to actually get a win, that would be embarrassing to them.
But the thing is, though, is that you guys set a precedent that says that you don't hit another team's finisher and win the match with it.
99.9% of the time somebody hits somebody else's finisher, they will not win with that move.
Well, exactly, but at least you gotta try it.
So
But The Rock and Austin love to hit each other's finishers.
Yeah, exactly.
And neither and those two are the best of all time, and neither one of them won a match with the other guy's move. So this is for the NWA tag belts. If it was a regular match, I probably wouldn't care as much. But if you want to win the tag belts, you got to hit your own move to win the match. I'm just talking like this in the scope of what we've
like
set
it's
down
not
as
like
the
it's not
precedents
scripted.
here. And then
Yes.
oh, it was scripted.
Oh man, I just blew his mind.
And then Andy Douglas had to go after Gail
Andy
Kim.
Douglas?
Why? Come on, good. Come on.
Yeah,
'Cause
everybody
she's
wants
hot.
to go after Gail Kim.
That's true. We've all seen the pics. It's
There are
great.
so many Flip Gordons on the show.
Flip.
And then he gets handcuffed.
Wear
and
your
then-
mask, Flip.
So then he gets handcuffed, and of course, because he had to walk after Gail Kim for some reason. And then they lose the match because of it. So dumb faces, I apologize to the naturals, but you're natural dumb faces.
Do I have to delete the cameo now because I insulted Flip?
No, because we still have the video to post.
I know.
So then...
Oh wait, we gotta rate the match.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
man.
What did you rate it, Albert?
Well, if there was no
I-
bell, it wasn't a match.
True.
There was a bell eventually.
I give it a 5.5.
I did it because of storyline purposes. I gave it 6.75.
You're not allowed to use 0.5 or even number or whole numbers ever again.
Oh, because I want to give it above a 5. I mean, the guys, like I said, the story was good. I just don't like the way it was booked. I don't.
It could have been better. Could have been worse.
Right.
I'm gonna
Could've been a lot
give
worse.
this was one of the other matches where I didn't like it, so I'll give it 5.5.
All right. So then, was
We had a Monsters Ball.
Shane Douglas there?
Not yet.
No. Did he talk to James Mitchell, or was it just James Mitchell by himself
It
standing in
was
front of that
Shane
fence?
Douglas.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
talking to Jim
I didn't
Mitchell.
write it down, so I forgot.
That's 6.
Okay, so before that, we had a Monsters Ball video package, and it featured all 4 of the participants: Jeff Hardy, Rhino, Abyss, and Sabu.
Yeah,
then-
storyline continuity. They were all locked in a cell for 24 hours in the dark.
And I
But
hate
wait,
that.
Rhino showed up
And yeah,
2 hours before the match.
they all looked like they all came out of a holding cell 24 hours later in the night. So James Mitchell says Abyss has the edge because he grew up with basically in the same situation as they're all in with the holding cell with no food, no light, no water as a kid.
So he was poor.
So he was poor.
He was just Kenny without the
And-
death himself.
And so that gives Abyss the advantage in this match somehow. But okay, either way, it was a good promo by James Mitchell. It pretty much got my attention.
James Mitchell's a good talker. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Good promo. Good promo.
Anything else he said in his promo, or did we just go to the
No,
match?
that was pretty much it.
All right. So we had the Monsters Ball match: Rhino versus Abyss versus Sabu versus Jeff Hardy.
This match was just batshit.
First and foremost, Sabu threw a chair at Abyss's head. Sabu does a dive to Rhino outside the ring. Hardy does a Sabu move to Abyss where he sets up a chair and dives onto Abyss in the corner. Hardy does a double sledge to Abyss off of a railing in the crowd. Sabu throws a chair into Rhino. Sabu sets up a chair and dives at Rhino. Then Hardy got whipped or whispered in the wind to Abyss. Abyss does the shock treatment to Jeff Hardy. Rhino
I
throws.
think I thought you go like, oh damn.
Rhino
You did
hits
that.
Sabu
I
with
think
a
so. Did a lot in
chair,
this match.
and then so Rhino hits Abyss and Sabu with a chair. Hardy does the whisper in the wind to Abyss again. Sabu hits Hardy with a chair. Then Rhino starts getting a kendo stick and starts knocking out everybody with that. Abyss does a choke slam to Rhino onto a chair. Hardy throws the chair into Abyss. Sabu does his leg drop to Rhino through a table on the outside that's set up on the barricade. Then Abyss and Hardy start fighting off to the stage area. Hardy sets Abyss up onto 2 tables that were set there by Abyss. Hardy does a swanton off the stage to Abyss through 2 tables. In the ring, Sabu is doing the camel clutch to Rhino. Rhino then grabs a kendo stick and starts hitting Sabu with it. Sabu does an Irish whip to Rhino through a chair in the corner. Sabu does his triple jump moonsault to Rhino.
He almost fucked it up, too.
Sabu does his Arabian face buster to Rhino using the chair. Then Sabu gets thrown through a table face first.
He went sideways flat across the table.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Almost flat. Like I thought he broke his nose when he first see it until he just turns over. He's fine.
Rhino gores Abyss through a table that's set up in the corner. Then this is the weirdest fucking spot of the match. Rhino grabs Jeff Hardy and does a pile driver off the top rope to Jeff Hardy. So Rhino wins.
Yeah. God damn, man. The crowd was fucking hyped for this all the way through. It made me feel like I was actually part of the action. Like I was there. All these guys fucking took weapon shots. They were bumping for each other. I don't think this match stopped.
It didn't.
I don't think this match stopped at all. It was a good like 15-minute freaking car wreck of grandiose proportions, and I freaking loved every second of it.
That is Monsters Ball.
That is arguably
the best, probably the best Monsters Ball I'm ever going to see. I can't imagine it being better than this.
It's the definition of what a Monsters Ball match is. There was the fatal...
Not Abyss and Grado.
There's the fatal 4-way tag team one a couple Bound for Glories after this that was pretty good. With Team 3D and all those guys.
Beer Money, Matt Morgan and Abyss and LAX.
That one.
With Mongo as the referee.
Yeah, that one's good.
Two kind of entertaining spots. Abyss comes down and gets scared by his pyro. I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah. And then later, when I think Jeff Hardy was doing his first Whisper in the Winds, he goes down on all fours, asking Sabu to do the poetry in motion, and Sabu runs up to him and kicks him. I thought it was kind of funny.
That was pretty good.
This match is a 9.
I gave it a 9 as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. Don't worry about the quality. This is entertaining. Go watch this match. Even if you watch nothing else on the card, this match was so much fun.
This match reminds me exactly how crazy Jeff Hardy is.
Yeah, and we're going to see more of that. And you're going to see how crazy Jeff Hardy is later.
So what about you? What's your rating?
I'll give it a 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, do we have Shane Douglas again?
No, we just have an AJ and Christopher Daniels video package.
All right, so we get an Iron Man match for the X Division title.
We get Iron Man 2. They made it very clear to continue to call it Iron Man 2.
AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels.
What happened in the first one?
They went to a draw and...
Oh, that's right.
And AJ wins.
What was was that also 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
32 counting the overtime. But he was in the end of that one when they were going to the draw, because they do that, like, they put him in the finisher and they're trying to make, or they put him in submission, they have to hold out thing. Except for AJ's bleeding the entire time.
Oh, wow.
So it was a scene.
Yep. So for this particular match, Styles does an arm drag and a backbreaker to Daniels. Styles does a drop kick to Daniels. Styles dove over the rail to hit Daniels, which Daniels at this point is in the crowd.
Nice spot.
Styles does a knee drop to Daniels, which the camera does not correctly catch.
Yeah.
Styles does the last chancery to Daniels.
Last chancery.
Styles clothesline Daniels back into the ring when they were on the apron. Daniels does a backbreaker to Styles.
And the thing about that clothesline spot was he jumped out of the ring to get on the apron to clothesline him back into the ring.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a cool spot. Yeah.
Daniels gets the Koji clutch onto Styles there. Daniels does a springboard moonsault to Styles. Styles does his springboard DDT to Christopher Daniels, which looks amazing.
That was the closest thing to a botch in this entire match, and it wasn't even a botch.
Right.
Styles does a spin kick to Daniels. Styles then does a shoulder power bomb to the knees of Daniels.
It looked devastating.
Then Styles does a pump handle backbreaker to Daniels. Daniels does the Death Valley Driver to Styles. Then Daniels power bomb / launches Styles over the top rope by his neck.
Yeah, I don't know what to call that, but it looked pretty good.
Styles has a neck breaker to Daniels. Let's see.
That was the suplex drop net, like where you get him in the suplex and drops him back.
Daniels does a Blue Thunder Bomb. Then
that's what that's called.
Then the BME to Styles. Then Styles does the Torture Rack backbreaker to Daniels. Daniels hits a knee to Styles out of the ring, and then Daniels does a tope to Styles.
Well, he
outside.
damn near killed himself because he almost missed.
Oh no.
Yep. All right.
Like you said, it was this.
But it makes it look really good.
I know.
Styles does the Pele to Daniels.
Which also could have been
outside.
missed.
Styles does a dive onto Daniels.
He does his, yeah.
Daniels does a backdrop to Styles out of the ring, so they both land on the floor hard.
Yeah, that was like a back suplex.
Did we talk
kind
the
of a
spot
thing,
with the stairs?
Oh.
I did not say the spot upstairs yet.
Okay.
Daniels caught Styles and did a springboard German suplex. Then Styles got up and clotheslined Daniels instantly. Styles does a crossbody to Daniels. Styles does an enziguri to Daniels. Daniels does a jawbreaker and an enziguri to Styles. Then Daniels attempts to go for the Angel's Wings. Styles reverses it into a pin. Then Styles does the Styles Clash to Daniels, and Styles gets the win.
With 2 seconds to spare.
Yeah, you could tell it was going that way towards the end if you had an idea what was going to happen.
The weird thing, though, is that whole bit, the last thing he said, that, before I cut you off, but
no, you're good.
That angel wing spot, and then the pins, and the bridge, and the Styles Clash, and all that, they had 40 seconds left on the clock when they did all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they were still like, we're going to do a 30-minute match, and it's all going to come down to these 2, like, false finishes in this 40-second period, and I'm still going to do the Styles Clash and get it done in time.
And like you guys were saying, there was only one time each one went for their moves, and Daniels missed, and AJ hit, and then he won.
Yeah, because AJ took Daniel's attempt into that bridge.
Yeah.
Or into that bridge pin. But
As you're describing the match, I can feel the match again. You're getting more intense as it was going on. It was actually kind of cool.
Well, I was going to
It's gonna
say,
be hyped up again.
I only brought
really
up
great.
I only brought up the stair spot 'cause that happened about halfway through the match. And when you're towards the end of it,
That was like about 9 minutes left.
Yeah. when you get towards the end of it, you can see like exactly where his ribs hit the stairs, where his legs hit the stairs. He was
because Styles got essentially thrown out of the ring onto the stairs.
he was supposed to land on the side, but he either threw himself, sold it too hard, and threw himself into the stairs, or he just didn't know where he was when he was leaving the ring.
So let's hear Albert's notes.
that
Albert
was
actually
brutal.
time-stamped notes. I did not.
I just timestamped it just so I know where I was more than anything else, because at the beginning it was just like a lot of pacing, in a good way. It was like
They knew they had to go 30 minutes.
It was great exchanges. They had that one AJ spot where the cameraman kind of gave it away because he panned over to AJ before he went back to Christopher Daniels, and then I was like, oh, he's going to jump in on him for sure. But still, it looked full because Daniels was like, he sees AJ Styles coming right at him. It was great. A lot of dueling chants for both guys. Both guys are mega over. And I kept saying there's no falls. And I kind of had an idea it was going to end the way it did. I just didn't know how. The pace ramped back up around like 10 minutes, and like there's still 20 minutes left, and it did not stop, except when they were selling like the moves like to the floor or whatever. So like even by my notes, like 5 minutes in, I just said good pacing, few rest holds here and there because they had to pace it up. Then 10 minutes in, still no falls. But as the time went on, I had to take notes on the individual moves, and I pretty much got the same notes you did. Like at 7:25, then 16:15, 14:46. There's that was a springboard DDT, by the way, the inverted DDT, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, that's one of the first moves that hooked me into liking Styles.
Then
and Pele.
Then that pump handle backbreaker was at 14 minutes, and just like he was reading the match out to you guys. That's how my timestamp was going, because like it was just like it had to go every 30 seconds, which is something great. It was a great story being told. The guys had to win the match, and it came down to the end, and Styles Clash 1, 2, 3, decisive win, no doubt about it. AJ Styles is the best.
He really is, and Daniels is also
he's
one of the best. He held up.
Good Lord. I mean, these guys did not stop. After like the 20-minute mark, they didn't stop.
They did it once, They did the triple threat, and they did this for the second time. Like,
And this is actually one of the best examples of blowing off a major angle at a major pay-per-view. Kudos to them for doing it the right way. This match got a 10 out of 10.
10.
Yeah.
Can't fuck with it.
The saddest part is the last time we all gave a match a 10 was Triple Threat TLC match at WrestleMania 17.
I didn't give Stone Cold and The Rock a 10. I gave WrestleMania 17 a 10.
No doubt about it.
The ladder match a 10.
Like you guys probably knew what happened. I didn't really know who was going to win, and I'm marking out. I'm watching a match like I never thought I'd see, even though I've seen great matches before. This was awesome. Go watch it.
Well, plus you got to think about it this way. This is like a 30-minute match.
Yeah.
And it's an easy watch.
It is, even with the timer being on the screen.
My only issue was like not issue with the match, but you said like knowing what was going to happen. It's like I was getting some moments mixed up between the first match and this one because they've done an Iron Man match before this.
You just knew the finish because
I knew exactly what happened in the finish.
How do you guys feel about the climactic pin with like 4 seconds left? Why then could not Daniels kick out and just like force overtime?
Because they already did the overtime in the first one. They weren't going to do it in both of them.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, just wondering.
I was cool with it. I mean, I don't mind how long it takes them to get the final fall. I just like decisive unless like this one had already done on overtime. So we didn't need a second one.
The weird thing with is since it's the scripted way it is, because like Iron Man is like, it's either going to be 2-1, and the guy down is going to get really close, or
which would be your heel would be the one that's up on the scoreboard,
right?
Or you're going to have a match like this where nobody's winning, and they're tied or something like that.
Brett and Sean.
Yeah, and I will say this: I watched Brett and Sean. I've watched it like I don't know how many times, but I think it's a great match. This one was better than that one in half the time. So I will admit that. So so as far as I'm concerned,
you got the old man saying that AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels is better than some people consider one of the best matches in Mania.
Because I can understand why that match was kind of slow, the 60-minute one, and it still went to overtime, so it was like really 62 and a half or whatever it was. But these guys did the same amount of work in this day and age, or in that day and age, and it accomplished the same thing as Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels did in 1996, I believe. So
for a secondary title as well.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about this match as a secondary title.
So my point is that like both matches are good in their own right and in their own era. I mean, like it's like a 9-year difference. Both matches are 10 out of 10 as far as I can tell. But I think I like this match more than that one. This match right here more than Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
I can sit and watch this match. I've only watched Bret and Shawn once because I will not watch it twice. I don't watch 60-minute Iron Man matches twice.
With just one fall?
Yeah.
Until we got to review them, but yeah.
Oh, I'll watch it again.
Did you watch the 60 man, right? Sorry.
You
a
did
60-minute
Will you watch a 60-man Iron Man match?
with 25 falls in it? A
Yourself
60-minute Iron Man match with like 10 falls?
See, that's different. Like it's like you said, it's pacing. If it keeps me engaged, like this keeps you engaged.
Yeah.
And everything goes on, and it's only 30 minutes. The 60-minute ones that bother me, and our most recent one was that Fatal 4 in the NXT, and that bothered me because they had a draw between 2 of the 4 people.
I know.
Come on,
yeah.
That was stupid. I'll agree with that. But yeah, like we got a few more Iron Man matches on tap.
I know I'm gonna shoot myself in the head when we get to the John Cena, Randy Orton.
So we got John Cena, Orton. We got technically we've got Brett, Sean eventually. Could possibly do Triple H and The Rock.
That was a fun one.
If we're doing just for shits and giggles, we may do Kurt Angle and Sean from Raw.
What about Angle Lesnar?
Angle Lesnar's great. I love that match.
Could do that one too sometime. But then we're eventually going to get to the other Daniels and Styles one. And we're also going to get to the Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle one.
The Samoa Joe Kurt Angle one is really good, like this one, but for different reasons.
I can't remember if the Bobby Roode AJ Styles one is that good, but that'll eventually be one that we'd get to.
I can't say that there's a bad... I think going off everything you just named, the one I like the least is John Cena and Randy Orton.
Which makes sense.
And that's your boys, too.
Which sucks, because I actually liked Cena at the time that match happened, and I've always liked Orton. And I was like, this is too much. It was at the end of an already too long feud. I didn't need to see him for another 60 minutes.
Exactly. No, I 100% agree with that, but eventually we'll cover that, and Get it out of the way.
I think they're. And on the tangent for that, brought up the John Cena Randy Orton thing. I think they covered pretty much almost every type of match they could have.
Well, they've had 2 Hell in a Cells
They had
together.
2 Hell in Cells, a TLC, 60-minute Iron Man, and I Quit. They were supposed to have a Last Man Standing match, but he ended up
Yeah,
getting
they
hurt.
never had the official Last Man Standing. They never had the official First Blood either.
But like, First Bloods don't really exist anymore, so I'm not counting those.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think people do those. Yeah, just for the sake of like, we gotta make somebody bleed.
They never had an official straight up ladder match
Yeah,
or a
but
table match.
I count the TLC match as a ladder match.
They never had a stairs match.
Oh God.
Didn't they?
That was a match at one of those
Yeah, it's really
Yeah, it
fucking
was
dumb.
Big Show and
Extreme
Rowan.
Rules match, right? Yeah. Good
Big
Lord.
Show and Rowan in a stairs match.
That was the year it was tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
which was
Oh,
stupid.
wow.
They even put it on the DVD cover. And
Which is
stairs.
hilarious, but it was terrible.
God damn.
We'll
I'm glad
eventually roast that show too, guys. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
So,
I
what
think
are we
I'll go
doing?
on another one of my.
Shane Douglas interview.
No, actually, we have a Genesis hype video for
Yeah.
the next pay-per-view.
Okay.
I don't think we have any more Shane Douglas.
Damn, I'm disappointed actually.
Yeah, there is.
no.
There's the.
Yeah,
there's the
he's
when
also-
he talks about the Battle Royal.
That's right. So Shane Douglas' last appearance in this pay-per-view. Thank you, Shane Douglas, for being a true player, true team player.
Seven times.
He talks to
Zabisco
talks to
again.
Zabisco.
Who was probably like the 4th time he showed up on.
And Zabisco, right about now, can't speak. He can barely breathe. He's sweating and wiping his face off with a towel. And he suddenly decides that there's going to be an over-the-top rope gauntlet match to determine Jeff Jarrett's opponent with people who've already performed this in this pay-per-view.
Yeah, technically one of those people didn't perform.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them didn't.
And after this gauntlet match is over, there's 10 guys who already performed. They're going to come out one at a time, and the winner will face Jeff Jarrett in a match right after the gauntlet match.
So I want to talk about this because you're worried about what Zabisco was doing during this promo. I'm worried about Shane Douglas trying to get to the fucking point because he was talking about you're gonna make Jeff Jarrett have to face the winner of this 10-man gauntlet. Like, he's like,
He has to
dude,
get his shit in every time.
I know
You just can't
exactly what
shut
you're
up.
trying to say. You're just saying it in the longest form possible.
Who, me?
No,
No,
Shane
Shane.
Douglas
Oh,
when he
right.
was doing his promo.
He was. He's so he tries to be so verbose. Like, sometimes the best things you say is something you don't say. Come on, dude. You should know that by now, but he doesn't.
I was like,
Or by then, but he doesn't.
True. So we have a gauntlet match, and who's our first 2 competitors?
We have one Samoa Joe and Ron Killings. So the first 2 guys.
So first things first, is I wrote that Joe does some corner boots to Ron the Truth Killings. Killings does a blockbuster that looked like it was going to be a muscle buster, but it was not.
Yeah.
Then he does his lie detector to Samoa Joe, and who comes out next?
Well, there was a couple times during I think when these 2 guys were out where I thought that Ron Killings was going to do something into the turnbuckle where Joe was standing and Joe was going to catch him and toss him out. And then Joe would just stand there and wait for the next guy to come out, but it never really happened that way.
and you had that same feeling with the next guy who comes out.
So I just stopped saying it. Number 3 was Sabu.
Because Sabu's out there using his chair and shit.
Yeah. So I just stopped saying it.
Sabu throws the chair at
don't know
Killings
what I'm
and Joe. Sabu does his triple jump moonsault to Killings.
And he's doing this after a freaking brutal Monsters Ball match.
And doing it over and over and over again.
Sabu puts his chair up and dives off of it onto Joe.
I like the 3rd time he does it. Joe just punts the chair into his kneecap.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yep, Joe hits Sabu in the knee with his own chair. And then who comes out?
Lance Hoyt.
Probably that's the definition of going to the well one too many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing I wrote in between this section here is Lance Hoyt does a big boot to Joe.
And they have like a little stare down.
Then what
Yeah.
happened? Then who's next?
Abyss.
So then Abyss and Joe have a chop battle.
This is a running theme when Abyss is coming out, and it's going to be a running theme through the rest of these people, or most of the rest of these people. Everybody is doing a great job of selling the damage they took in
I completely
their
agree.
respected matches.
Yeah, either that or they have no choice but to sell it, because especially when we see another guy later down the line.
Well, 2 of them at least.
Yeah.
I can say were probably legitimately hurt.
Yeah.
So Joe and Abyss just have a chop battle. So then who comes out next?
Speaking of selling, Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, I think he was legitimately hurt.
Yeah, there was a spot where he I don't know who he's in the turnbuckle with, but I think he punches that person once or twice and then goes right down to his back like ow.
Which I didn't write down in the notes, but yeah, that did
He
did
punched.
happen.
It was a punch, and he kicked with his left, and I think he kicked with his right, and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So then who comes out?
Monty Brown, and this is the section where we had our first eliminations where Hardy and Brown got tangled in the ropes and they end up tossing each other out.
Well, okay.
So Monty Brown does the pounce to Sabu before that happens.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, it's weird.
I should let you explain it.
No, you're fine.
The Monty Brown eliminating
Himself.
Yeah, that thing. It's not that he eliminated himself. It's that the way he did it, it made it look like because he hit it, he had already stopped his momentum. Like his momentum was the idea. So his momentum was supposed to take him over, but he had already stopped his momentum. And it reminded me like he thought that oh shit, I was supposed to go over, so he kind of jumped himself over. Like it just looked really awkward to me.
Yeah, those kind of I don't really I'm not really a big fan of Monty Brown. He just at this point maybe I need to see more of him.
You do. He's pretty good overall.
This isn't the only self elimination in this match. Too.
It just like it's just first impression. I just don't know if I really care much for the way he is in the ring. I don't know, but who knows? Maybe down the line I'll change my mind.
Other than the pounce, the pounce is great.
I'm mad on him.
Other than the pounce is great.
Well, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Okay, so then Monty Brown and Jeff Hardy eliminate themselves. Then who comes out?
Mr. Rhino.
Okay, I didn't write any notes for particularly when Rhino is out there. So is there any eliminations between then and then?
No. Nope.
So then who's next?
Kip James.
So
this is the technicality.
Yeah.
Yep. So Kip James did not compete, but Kip James does a splash and a famous to Abyss.
And it looked really good.
Then Kip James has a drop kick to Samoa Joe.
Yep.
And I don't know when this particularly happens, but James Mitchell hits Rhino in the ribs with his cane.
I laughed at
I didn't
that.
even see that.
Well, because even the commentators didn't say it, but I was like, I looked right at it and said, hey.
So then who's next?
The last guy to come out is the one and only phenomenal AJ Styles.
This is the other one, going back to that the stair spot that I said was probably legitimately hurt.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was kind of like, do I have to do this? But, he mans up.
Because he had a lot of fucking bruises, and he was limping the whole time.
So Styles does a Pele kick to Killings.
I don't know when the eliminations happen as far as your notes are concerned, so I don't know.
Well, now everybody's in the ring.
I'll just read through the rest of the notes.
Okay.
Joe does a sleeper to Styles, and Rhino does a gore to Abyss. So then, what are the eliminations?
Okay, so after AJ Styles comes out, this is when everybody starts to jump out of the pool. Lance Hoyt gets eliminated by Rhino. Sabu gets eliminated by Rhino. Kip James eliminates himself. I wasn't sure what he did there.
Yeah, he got thrown over the ropes, or he jumped. Basically, he got thrown over the ropes, and he stood there and he pushed. I can't remember who it was away.
I think it was Styles.
But in his
But then he fell.
And the idea, he pushed it away, and then he stepped up. Like the momentum of him pushing the guy away made him eliminate himself. Which I've never seen before. That's because it's dumb.
Killings gets eliminated by Joe. And then Joe and Styles get eliminated by both Joe and Styles get eliminated by Abyss. And then Abyss gets eliminated by Rhino, and Rhino's the winner. He faces Jeff Jarrett for the world title.
Rhino wins that match. So what would you rate that particular Gauntlet Battle Royal?
I've seen so many different things with Gauntlet Battle Royals the past couple days, right? I like the hardcore one better, but this one's pretty good. I enjoyed the concept of it. It's like a little Royal Rumble in a way. And I'm gonna give it a 7. It was okay. It also because it fits into the story of the whole show, which I'm gonna talk about later.
I gave it a 6 just because, honestly, Gauntlet Battle Royals aren't my thing. Just because Battle Royals and Gauntlet Battle Royals are to me pretty much the same fucking thing, and you can't really do much to make them stand out. I love the fact these guys were selling their injuries.
That's where I was gonna get.
There you go.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Not because it's anything different than anything we've seen before. It's whatever. But the injury selling part was what got me. Was everybody that did do shit, like everybody in the Monsters Ball match was selling that shit, whether they wanted to or not. Sabu's eye re-busted up.
Same with Rhino, too.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I like it a lot is because it's helping carry the story forward. It's the vehicle to get to the main event, which had to happen because they've been talking about it throughout the entire show, which is the best thing about this whole show in a nutshell.
It almost makes you feel like they actually knew what they were doing going into the show.
True.
Don't jinx it. It's not over yet.
So then you have a special ref match for the NWA World Title. Jeff Jarrett versus Rhino. Special ref, Tito Ortiz.
No bell happens in this match.
Who the fuck cares about Tito Ortiz?
Or the bell, for that matter.
Apparently nobody cares that this match even happened.
So Jarrett does a drop kick to Rhino. Jarrett slammed Rhino onto a casket.
Yeah, there was a casket to the ring. There's going to be a funeral.
Jarrett does 2 top rope clotheslines to Rhino. Rhino does a gore into a guitar.
That was actually pretty cool. That was good.
Rhino does a low blow to Jarrett.
Right in front of the referee. So this is...
Oh, yep.
This is another point I was going to make about why it even mattered that the ref needed to be distracted at all. If Rhino can just fucking straight up punt kick somebody in the nuts.
Right in front of the ref.
And then he has to get the referee distracted to hit him with a guitar.
Slap nuts.
Then Rhino does a gore to Jeff Jarrett, and Rhino wins the NWA World Title.
Crowd popped like I feel that the crowd just got exactly what they came to see, and that's what I felt about this whole pay-per-view in general. We'll talk about the shenanigans after the match in a second, because like I had that's really something that's going forward after the pay-per-view. This match right here encapsulated the entire pay-per-view. Rhino's the MVP of this whole show.
Well, it's Rhino's like fifth
Shane
time.
Douglas is a close second. But like,
Rhino's appearances actually meant something. Shane Douglas
I know,
is just
I'm
like,
joking.
I'm here.
I know, and I'm gonna talk over everybody and talk a lot, but like it make no sense whatsoever.
You don't gotta describe me like that.
The Rhino winning the title in this was like is that face winning the title to send the crowd home happy or whatever the main event was supposed to be. The whole show had everything was tied together like it was like a Christmas present with a bow on it. I can't say anything better about the show. I don't care about the match itself, about the main event anyway, because that meant
it
nothing.
wasn't a match; it was a segment.
It was the closing segment that had another closing segment, but Jeff Jarrett got his comeuppance. He tried every which way to figure out how to get his way, but he was also fighting champ. He didn't bitch about fighting. He just wanted to know who he was fighting. And
Yeah, I agree with that.
So again, it was.
But then immediately tried to cheat
and
against
then-
me. I read 3 matches.
And Rhino comes out, getting his ass whipped in 2 different matches, getting his ass whipped in this match, and he wins the world title. I loved it. Great ending.
I'd say Rhino would probably call it like a night of his career.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
Go 3-0 and leave with one of the most prestigious titles in the history of wrestling.
Yeah. So this.
Yeah.
So even though this wasn't really the best match on the card, the whole
18
idea
pounds
of
of gold, baby.
the whole idea of the match happening the way it did with Jeff Jarrett and Rhino, I'm gonna give it an 8.
I gave the
Who's
Jeff
the story?
Jarrett Rhino part a 7, just because actual match quality, it's not great, but the story makes it.
I don't think it's a match, but I'll give it a 7.
So after the match, did you write any notes about that?
No, but it's Gail Kim and
Her fifth or
America's
so
Most
appearance.
Wanted and,
And
Team Canada
come out and pretty much they beat up Rhino.
Then 3 Live Crew and
Yeah.
come out
And then Rhino gets put in the coffin, which is in the middle of the ring, by the way. And then Jeff Jarrett and his crew are celebrating, and then
the Dudley's music hits.
and then
So-
Team 3D hits.
This is that whole let's announce our presence thing
Yeah.
that people always complain about.
The first thing I said was like 2 guys are going to beat up 8. Okay.
AEW does this with Darby Allin a lot.
What does he
Anytime he
do?
comes back like to save somebody in a fight, they play his music. He gets his music played and he gets to run down to the thing instead of just like running in and saving people.
Yeah, it would be better if we just don't play music at all. Therefore, no one knows you're coming.
That
Facts.
Yeah.
That's
scripted.
true. Oh,
Scripted.
shut up.
Scripted.
Um,
Darby Allin's real though. You see those tacks in that when he fucking tacked.
And then I felt bad for Eric Young because
Ricky
like
Starks.
he was a sacrificial lamb for all those heels in the ring. He had to be
That
put
was
in the
Eric
coffin.
Young for like 10 years in TNA.
Well, the best part about it is Eric Young. So all the heels are knocked out of the ring minus him. He's standing on the coffin looking like he just dropped a load in his pants.
Like the whole
Oh,
time the
shit.
brawl was happening, he was just
Yeah,
standing
he's just
there.
standing there on this coffin like, I just shit myself.
And then he takes a 3D, and then Rhino comes out of the coffin, and they put a EY in there, and that basically ends the show.
Yeah, and then Rhino standing on top of the coffin with the NWA World Title.
I kind of felt bad for Eric Young in that moment because when Ronald jumps on the coffin, it fucking
breaks a little bit.
dents.
Luckily, there's enough room, so at least like, and Eric Young's a pretty small dude, so if it was like Bubba Ray in there, I would have felt even worse.
It's like, oh well,
Yeah, excellent show.
yeah. I don't particularly agree with what they did after the show, moving forward, because they literally gave the belt right back to Jarrett. But as far as this show and its conclusion, it was great.
Yeah, this show I'd recommend to anybody, and if you don't want to watch the whole thing, that's fine. Just watch the Monsters Ball and for sure the X Division title match.
It definitely kept me engaged in watching TNA for a while.
Yeah, the whole show
and then Kurt Angle
overall,
kept me engaged.
the whole show overall is great.
I'm glad that you guys have got me into this because I never would have known this card existed because I wasn't a TNA guy. And
you weren't a Ring of Honor guy either.
Yeah, you're right. So I mean that's the whole point of me doing this is to broaden my horizons, and then we all talk about it. And so like I never would have known this card happened because I'm glad I watched it. So
just remember, it was supposed to be Jeff Jarrett and Kevin Nash.
I understand.
I just personally wonder
I think this is a great way to cover. Well, the only reason I say this is because there's no way they're going to be like, Rhino, you're going to have this brutal Monsters Ball match, and we're going to give you the world title on the same night. But you had to go through all this shit.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just wondering what would have they done had
if it
Kevin
was
Nash
Kevin
been
Nash?
there?
It probably would have done horrible, and
Well, would Kevin Nash have won the belt and then they just did the title change still, or would Jeff Jarrett keep the belt?
I don't know, but I think the only reason that they gave Rhino the belt was...
It's a feel-good story.
I say that he wasn't planning to have it at all because they literally take it from him the next chance they can.
True.
Yeah, I've always wondered why when they want to put the belt on a transitional champion, why does it have to be a week? Why can't it just be like a few months to have a sort of a respectable reign? Why? Because it was obvious.
Give him a title defense or something.
Because it's so obvious what they're doing. I mean, it's one thing if you hot potato the belt 3 times in the span of 3 months. It's different. But Rhino never sniffed the belt again, as far as I know.
No, not the NWA belt.
No. So Rhino had after this particular pay-per-view, he doesn't actually even go for the title again.
Yeah, his next like big major TNA feud is like his whole long feud with AJ Styles.
Yeah, like his next few feuds have nothing to do with the world title. Like
he loses the title and basically goes away.
Yeah, because he's stuck feuding with Kurt Angle and the Main Event Mafia.
Which is years after this.
He's feuding with AJ Styles. He's feuding with James Storm about being an alcoholic. He feuds with Moose and RVD.
He's teaming with Heath Slater again.
They do the whole ECW EV2 faction,
which was awful.
I didn't mind it, but it wasn't like
I listened to 83 Weeks just for that.
He wasn't a major player. Let's just say that.
That was about the time I wasn't watching anymore.
So like he doesn't really do anything of note. He gets in a little program of Christian or whatever, but
hey, that match with Christian at Bound for Glory is actually pretty good.
That's all he really does, though. Like, he doesn't go in and have a world title match again.
Like I said, this is his moment, and it was a good one.
And my last word on Rhino, and I've kind of like shit on him and on some of the matches we've watched for Ring of Honor or wherever we watched him in, and I take back all I said. I think he's a beast. So I apologize, Rhino.
He is a fucking beast.
I don't care how slow you are.
Holy fuck. All right.
All right, so the next time we are going to be recording a show, we are going to be recording Bound for Glory 2018. And our biggest reason is because of the infamous finish of the championship match.
Go fuck yourself.
GFY.
All right. Peace.